Shweebs, if you guys can put in the comments, explain it to Jordy.
No, I want you to explain it to me right now.
Just tell him.
Lolly is an underage girl.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you do.
I'm not the one calling Ariel from The Little Mermaid a babe.
That was private. That was private.
You want to take the gloves off, bro?
Let the red water flow.
Oh, no.
I like it when the red water comes out.
I didn't like that.
I love the feeling of rusty spoons.
Rusty spoons.
We just lost all our subscribers.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted the salad fingers reminder.
That's what we're covering today on Animation Shmanime.
The one of the OG animations on YouTube from I don't know.
Pre-YouTube, I want to say.
Was it pre-YouTube?
Dawn of the Internet.
We're not
as
talking
Jay
about
would say.
salad fingers.
No, we're not. But welcome back to another episode of Anime Shmanime, where
right.
we try to get our skeptical friend here.
I know you wanted to hurl an insult at me there.
Oh man, really bad, really bad.
Not yet. Let's
Not
just
yet.
see what he thinks.
I'm holding back. I'm trying to be a little bit more.
I know what you mean
restrained.
when you say skeptical, though.
Cynical.
Skeptical.
Anyways,
Anyway,
yeah.
where we try to get our skeptical friend to start liking anime as much as we do.
Yeah.
I'm Mikey Lee.
I'm Jordy Hedderwick.
And I'm Jay Beckett.
Yeah, senpai.
And you are Shweebs.
Yeah, so we're
Yes.
covering Redline today.
Yeah, that's right.
I know. I'm stoked on this one.
Yeah.
The legend.
Again, though, spoiler alert. So if you're just tuning in, we are going to spoil the fuck out of everything.
Yeah, you'll hear it all.
Everything.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched this movie, go watch it. If you don't care about watching it,
Then
all
you're
right,
good.
Then you're good.
Yeah.
We're going to cover everything.
Yeah, we're
You'll
gonna
get the
cover everything,
gist.
Yeah, true.
But honestly, go watch it. It is a visual fucking masterpiece.
I
Yeah.
agree. It's a
Yeah,
feast.
it is a feast.
Speaking of the gist, Redline is Footloose meets Star Wars pod racing.
I knew Star Wars pod racing was going to come
It's
up.
undeniable.
I was trying to think.
It's undeniable.
Footloose, though, that's interesting. I actually...
Footloose. I don't get the Footloose reference.
No.
They're not allowed to dance. They go to the new town and the town outlaws dancing. And in this, they've outlawed racing, but they're going to race anyway.
Yeah. See, I thought it was more like Tank Girl meets.
I don't know that well.
You don't know Tank Girl?
No.
So
dude.
I was trying to do the same thing. I tried to do a Jordy comparison. And for me, it was three things. This
Okay.
is Mad Max.
I got Mad Max
meets
too.
Star Wars pod racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meets Grease.
Okay, Grease, yeah.
Grease, yeah, I can see
in
that,
the
for
visuals
sure.
and the way they dress. Like,
And yeah.
he's a Danny Zuko type.
Yeah, and the end
Yeah.
of Grease, there's a drag race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't know Tank Girl.
I don't know it. Is it anime?
Wait, no, it's not. It's North American. It's a
Well,
comic
so
book.
it started as a comic book. It was
Yeah.
the guy who designed the gorillas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Designed Tank Girl.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
makes
like
sense.
like the character designs are like almost one for one sometimes.
With this?
Yeah, like
Okay.
right at the beginning where you see like the dog people.
Yeah.
Right,
And
like
Tank
it's
Girl's kangaroo people.
Kangaroo people,
Oh,
but like
interesting.
it's the aesthetics there just like unparalleled.
Yeah.
Right.
I was more thinking in the plot when I was trying to make a description. Yeah.
But yeah, this guys, I have to say, man, okay, I know the plot isn't like the most in-depth thing, but you don't need it to be. It
No.
gives you exactly what you want.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Like this thing fucking took 7 years to make. It's all hand drawn.
That's
It's-
insanity.
Yeah, like, and not to mention, like, you can even see like how like more like solid the colors are, but it's like super contrasting and it's bold. And not to mention like a lot of the visual effects where they're racing and you see their bodies kind of stretch in like different proportions and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, the perspective is really
yeah.
wild in this one.
Yeah.
Like the the cinematography, you
Yeah.
know,
Sure, yeah,
or whatever is really fucking wild. And you realize why when you find
Yeah.
out that it was literally directed by an animator.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? A
interesting.
guy who literally just did animation was just like, I'm going to direct one. And like, this is what you get. And it's so obviously directed by an animator. It's,
The animation is the like the piece de resistance of this whole movie.
it's an exercise.
It,
It's an exercise in animation.
Yeah.
Dude, if you go watch this high, it's just ego obliterating.
One of us did.
Yeah, actually, yeah, one of us did. Who? I don't know.
Which
Jay. I don't know, Senpai. But yeah,
Jordy. You rapscallion.
I'm a rascal.
But again, it is such a visual feast. It is just you are just soaking in so many different character designs too that are really wild. Like on Robot Planet, like the general with his fucking like that looks like a straight up villain from like a Marvel movie, but like an anime style. And even the anime style in itself is like you get the influence.
Yeah.
But on a scale that's so much nicer. And I think this is like, again, one of those movies that we lose this in current anime where like, you know, we talked about Ghost in the Shell and we talked about all those old hand-drawn animes like Akira.
Yeah.
Right? Like we lose all that art and all that grittiness, all that soul.
Detail. Like,
In that way with current anime. Even with let's say Your Name and whatever, like those are visual feasts too, but there is still something to be really said about hand-drawn style like this and really stylized.
Well, and it's like it's so unique.
Yeah.
It's not unlike anything I've ever seen before, visually anyhow.
Yeah.
And it's like really impressive that they're willing to take the risks that they're willing to take. Risks that would be impressive for a digital production.
Yeah.
It would be mind-blowing if this was digital. It's like unbelievable that it's actually all hand drawn. If you think about like, you know, even modern stuff that is using CGI, they aren't going to lengths that this goes to visually, stretching things out, the movement that you get, like the angles you get, and they're just like, yeah, we'll draw it.
Yeah.
We'll just fucking draw it, guys. 100,000 hand-drawn frames went into this movie.
That's crazy.
100,000 individual frames that you could pause throughout this movie and hang any one of them up on your fucking wall as a fucking work of art.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is. It, like, you know, it's like, God, I you know, it's a movie. I wish Andy Warhol could fucking sit down and watch this because I feel like he would just, his brain would explode. Like any pop artist would lose their shit over this.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, 100%.
For sure.
But
All right.
speaking of, you know, some history there, I'll get into the rest of it.
Yeah.
So Redline in Japanese, Redline, stylized as
Come on, man.
Redline. Dude. Look it up.
That blows my mind every time. Because again, there's a word for red and a word for line in Japanese. There has to be.
Yeah, but they wanted to use the English words.
Okay.
It sounds cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is a 2009 Japanese animated science fiction film produced by Madhouse and directed by Takeshi Koike in his directorial debut. It stars Takuya Kimura, Yu Aoi, Tatsuya Gashuin, Yoshinori Okada, Kanji Suda, Yoshiyuki Morishita. There's too many names. I'm going to stop there.
Yeah, you're good.
Screenplay was written by Katsuhito Ishii. Also, too many people there. A lot of people worked on this movie. This was a collaborative effort. Yeah. But the director actually, like I was saying before, he was an animator. He did keyframe animation on Ninja Scroll.
Interesting.
So when they called in the heavy hitters for those really big frames for this was one of the guys that they had called in. So
crazy.
He had a lot of history all through. And also Madhouse, we know from a lot of different things, Death Note being one of them.
Well, Madhouse is a powerhouse, let's be real.
They're a big production company. So anyways, based on an original story, it is set in the distant future where a man known as JP takes on great risks for the chance of winning the titular underground race. And believe it or not, that sums up the whole movie.
Yeah.
JP wants to win the race.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
The film was in production for 7 years and utilized over 100,000 hand-drawn frames. It premiered at the Locarno International Film Festival on August 14th, 2009. And it was theatrically released in Japan on October 9th, 2010 by Tohoku Shinsha Film. Despite positive reviews, with particular praise for its animation, Redline was unsuccessful at the box office. It actually saw greater success following its home release and is now actually considered a cult classic film.
That sounds about right for a movie like this.
Yeah. it's a shame because like God, did they put obviously they're fucking everything into this,
Yeah.
but like I could totally see this falling flat for like a lot of your mainstream.
Well, box offices
Yeah.
want that
moviegoers.
clean-cut clone of what was popular last time, right? They don't want
Yeah.
something brand new and unique.
Yeah.
That always ends up being a cult classic.
And the structure of this movie is just like so non-traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what though, it's very linear in the storytelling too, right?
For sure.
Yeah, but
which
it,
is
it
kinda
doesn't have
surprising.
like it doesn't have like the normal story beats you expect from like a linear Western story. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's just weird how it plays out. It's just like it's almost too straightforward.
It did feel to
Yeah.
me like a little snippet of a larger story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's more to be told there. Like, would have loved a 12 episode series of this.
Sure.
Almost, right?
You know what? I like especially when you see like the flashbacks to like why JP wanted to, become
Yeah. Yeah. There's
A
like one or
racer.
two scenes of him experiencing racing as a child, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or what is it? What's the little gremlin dude's name? The mechanic.
Frisbee.
When Frisbee, how he got involved with the mob.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
like all that could be hashed out. Like this could have
sure.
been,
Yeah.
the final movie of a series.
Yeah. Not to mention the politics in Robo World, like seeing that unfold a little bit too, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot going on.
But those character designs I fucking love.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when
They're
you
wild.
when you do a
Yeah.
thing like Robo World and everyone's robots, you kind of have the freedom to build them however you want because they're all just a mixture of parts, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Okay, let's talk about the world. Let's go right up top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's again, you mentioned crazy futuristic world.
Yeah.
And I love when futuristic technology isn't like clean and shiny. This was like a dirty futuristic world. I hesitate to use the word steampunk because I don't think it quite
No,
fits.
cyberpunk.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah, okay. But it's
Yeah.
that kind of like dirty, unclean, like gritty
Yeah.
subculture vibe, right?
Yeah, it's that more post-apocalyptic kind of
Yeah.
future,
Yeah.
which I think in early '80s movies and stuff like that, when people looked at futuristic or the possibility of what future would look like, it was supposed to be more pristine, flying cars and all that kind of
Sure,
stuff.
yeah.
But in reality, when we think of it now, it's like dirty, like
Yeah.
Wasteland.
right?
Totally.
Like
Yeah, it's not a utopia. It's just like the way it unfolds.
yeah, more Mad Maxy than it is.
To me, there's there's a juxtaposition that can be broken down in like Star Trek versus Star Wars. Star Trek, everything's so clean, right? They've got the clean suits, the little badge, the ships
Yeah.
are all white on the interior. Even the alien planets they go on are kind of nice. In Star Wars, it's like everyone's dirty. They're wearing rags and tatters. You know what I mean? Like, and as we know, I'm a Star Wars fan, so I appreciate that kind of vibe. You know what I mean? And then even the cars too are like all kind of janky and slapped together. Mechanics are like scrambling for parts.
Like pod racers.
Like pod racers, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? Do you guys remember in PlayStation 1? There was that video game where you could be like, it was a racing game, kind of like a battle royale, also too, where there's the one guy in the fucking. It was just a dude with two wheels.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
You're thinking of Axel from Twisted Metal.
Yes,
There you go, yeah.
Twisted
He was literally
Metal.
a dude who was the axle between two
Yes.
giant wheels, and he just like cross pose would just roll around like shooting rockets.
Imagine the pectoral strength you'd have to have.
Yeah, he's a monster. Yeah, dude, Twisted Metal, badass game.
Yeah, badass game. That's like this kind of have that vibe.
You should have
Yeah.
thrown that up
Right.
in my description.
Well, I was trying. Honestly, I was trying to
Trying to
think
think of it?
yeah, but I couldn't remember. Like, it was so
Nice.
long ago.
Yeah.
Senpai's got you.
Yeah, thank you, senpai.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll say about the world is it was like really busy. You know what I mean? There was like cities built on top of cities, built on top of cities. There was like so much to look at continuously everywhere. There was just like, I don't know, it was complex looking, right?
Again, just a feast for
It
your
really was.
eyes.
And,
It
and,
really
and,
was.
and not leaning on anything really established either, like real. Like so much it leans on real Japan as a background, and maybe they put
Yeah.
a twist on it or something.
Not in this
This
at all.
was like
Brand new worlds.
Yeah, from scratch, off the brain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whole new world created,
Yeah.
and really interesting to look at. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how well realized it is, scope wise. Again, this is a short movie. Like it doesn't give you a lot,
Right.
But what it does give you, you want to look at for hours.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hours.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I kind of want to watch it again, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
And I'll talk a little bit more about the world, but not the way it looks, but the way it is in the the politics of Robo World. It's like your classic archetype of an aggressive dictatorship, to the point where like their little slogan that they have on their hats and their arms like is kind of a swastika.
Yeah.
It's very swastika-ish. You know what I mean? That's
I
on
noticed
purpose.
that as well.
It's
I
on
did
purpose.
notice that.
Yeah.
It's like literally one right angle away from being a swastika.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But
And,
I think that's a bit of a, is it so much of a trope though? Like anytime you want to like portray fascist dictators,
You go
like,
Hitler.
You go Hitler.
Armbands and,
armbands,
and monograms.
Yeah.
right? Like
Call the leader of the Führer, and you're good to go.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like we see in Gundam, Sig Zeon.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the dictatorship hates any element of outside culture, right? Like they're like they don't want any outside culture that's not their robo world like little box that they fit in, which is why the race is such a big deal that it's happening there.
Yeah.
And they're not having it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not having it
They
at
don't
all.
want any military secrets getting out. They don't want
Yeah.
any eyeballs on them.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was really cool. Let's do a little bit more gushing about the art. I know that's all we've been doing right now.
No, like,
Yeah,
let's,
but
for
let's
do a
real,
little
that's
bit
what
more.
really
Because
dedicated
that's
to
really
talk
what
about
it's
it.
about. You know what I mean? Did you mention when this movie was made?
Yeah, 2009.
2009.
Okay,
yeah.
so
But again, it took 7 years to make, so it started production in 2002.
Because it has the vibe of something that would have been made in the 80s or early 90s. To
Yes.
me, big time. Do you know what I mean? When you said 2009, I was like, that it can't be. Because as I'm watching it, again, didn't know that till today. Thought I was watching an old movie.
But again, this was
Yeah.
directed by an animator who was working in early 90s anime.
Yeah.
Ninja Scroll.
Yeah.
Those types of movies. That's
Yeah.
where he did his thing.
Yeah.
So maybe it took 10 years later, but I'm sure his tastes are the same. His aesthetic tastes are similar.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Some of these characters, at least not in their actual artistic style, but in their actual character design, almost feel like a futuristic Ninja Scroll.
Oh yeah.
You could see it.
Machine Head
You could see it.
Yeah.
looks almost like Rock Guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does.
You're right.
He does. Well, I
you-
mean, they also did Highlander the anime.
Okay.
Yeah, which was stylistically like
They made anime out of that?
yeah, man.
Highlander?
Highlander.
There can be only one?
There can
That's
only
right.
be yeah. There can,
Of course
it
they
was
did.
it was really good. I liked it. It was very
Of
Ninja
course you
Scroll.
liked it.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, it was. I wouldn't put it in my top 10 or whatever,
Sure,
but
yeah.
it's a good like homage to Highlander. I
Okay,
think.
sure. Fair enough,
But
yeah.
I mean, you take Highlander and you make it an anime, it's gonna make it better anyway.
Is it?
Yes. Yo, Highlander. Come
Yeah,
on.
that's all right. It's a cool story. Cool story.
But I feel like this also had a bit of a heavy metal vibe.
Yeah, I kept
Yeah.
trying, but again, that's like a late 70s, 80s thing, right? Heavy metal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like even like weird movies from the early 90s, like I kept wanting to say it's reminding me of Cool World, but then I looked up Cool World and the animation's not the same, but it has that vibe. I don't know. I don't know.
Same energy.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
to me felt like it felt like an homage to comic books.
Yeah.
It felt like an homage to like a lot of Western
Sure.
pop art. Like I said, you
yeah.
know, I think about things like Andy Warhol and like, you know, artists that used a lot of heavy black
Yeah.
outlines and like that. Because that's the thing is every surface object thing in Redline has some hard black shadow on it.
Yeah.
And it's usually more than what you would expect. Like there's usually the underside or like there's some area that will be shaded and they will just go hard fucking black.
Yeah.
Thick, hard, inked black.
Yeah.
And that's why everything here literally feels like its own illustration.
Yeah.
100,000 hand-drawn illustrations turned into a movie. The care is so apparent in the line work and the use of shading. It's fucking miraculous.
Yeah, it really is intense. One thing that stood out for me as something they like paid extra attention to is the way they represent like speed as an element, right? You guys
Oh,
talked about the
yeah.
stretching of the bodies.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a race movie, so everything's fast and moving fast. But the way they drew it was so like effective. Like you really got the sense of speed, whereas like in a race that can be hard in a race movie. Like we watched Initial D, and those little 3D cars on the like hand-drawn road moving. I'm not getting a sense of speed from that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But in
The
this,
fastest thing in Initial D is the Euro beat playing in the
yeah,
background.
exactly.
Yeah.
But in this, I really did get that sense of speed. That also being said, is something I know that happened to me too. Is like. All I knew about this movie coming in was that it was a racing. I came in expecting something like Initial D. Could you
Oh,
imagine my
really?
surprise when I played the movie and it's this? I didn't know it was sci-fi even, dude. I had no idea it was a sci-fi movie.
You thought you were getting more
y-
fucking Japanese
That's what I
race
thought.
cars.
Because
Yeah, you thought you were just getting a dude with a fucking pompadour.
I didn't
and
know anything at all.
Yeah.
At all.
I love
I mean,
that.
this came
that's
up when
awesome.
we were doing Initial D, this movie.
Yeah.
So
It
to
did.
me, they were like connected in my brain.
That's
and
so
then I
funny.
turned this fucking movie on.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I think honestly too, like I know the stretching and the proportion stretching to present like warping, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the best word.
Yeah.
Isn't something new by this point, but
Sure.
like I think it really influenced a lot of other mediums and stuff like that because of how visually like impactful this movie was.
It really was something unique, and you're right. That's not a new element, but they did it so well, and they did it at a time when probably no one else was doing it.
Yeah.
I guess, and so like now
they
people are
did
like,
it
oh yeah,
by
we can do that again.
hand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ugh. God
Right?
damn it! Like I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably like my inner like drawing guy coming out, but
Yeah.
just like this is like
It's called the word is artist.
This is this is a ridiculous film.
Yeah.
Like from an artistic standpoint, to
Yeah.
think about it being. I paused it several times and was just like,
Yeah.
fuck off! I'm so bad at art. Like, oh my god, I suck.
Don't undersell yourself, dude. You're not making this, but like if this is the bar, then yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I take that happily.
Yeah.
This fucking movie is mind blowing.
Yeah.
But I will say, like,
You had to turn it off also to concentrate on living because you're just so baked.
Did you have to pause it just
up,
to like
Mikey.
reframe yourself?
no,
There was
I
a
did
lot
not.
going on. I wouldn't blame you.
I
too,
know,
honestly.
I really didn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
like that, but it was
Yeah.
it was really fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I will say that like it's not even necessarily exactly my taste.
Yeah.
Like in art, like in anime art. Like
Right.
I wouldn't put this like as my preference really.
You could put this movie in front of someone who doesn't like anime and tell them it's not anime, and they'll believe you.
They wouldn't think anything
They'll
of
believe
it,
you,
right?
yeah.
So like, is it the purest form of anime for me? Not necessarily. I'd say Sonoshi probably encapsulates the anime look that I like the best in this whole film. Everybody else is
Her
a
and
little different.
the other two girls
Yeah,
that were
the,
in
two-
the
yeah.
boy boys.
Yeah.
yeah. But that's what I mean. That's more
Yeah.
my aesthetic. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's the other more Western influences in this that
Yeah.
weren't really to my taste, but their execution is flawless.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't argue with that.
Yeah.
So that's why this still gets perfect marks for me
Yeah.
from art for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True, man. Yeah, I mean, we'll continue to gush about art
yeah, I think
As we
we
go.
will
as we talk
go.
going forward, because like everything.
It'll probably just be the same thing over and over, but it's fine.
yeah.
Big moments.
Yeah,
There's
you'll
some
deal
big
with it.
moments.
You'll deal with it. You know what else you can deal with is going and clicking like and subscribe for us.
Oh, you took over! You stole it from me, you bastard!
Did you have one on deck?
No!
That's why I stole it, because I was waiting for you, and I was like, I gotta get in here. But please, if you like this movie and you like us, and you think Mikey fucking dropped the ball today,
No, I was waiting for music.
oh yeah, that's a good point. I don't have notes on music.
Dude, okay, the music,
I don't
think
have
just
any notes on music.
fit the bill for what it was. I
Yeah.
don't think it was anything extraordinary.
Yeah.
But it definitely just made sure that
Yeah,
it
it was there.
kept you in and
Yep.
it kept you where you needed to be.
Yeah.
And really just kind of delivered that way.
It
I
didn't,
agree.
Right?
it didn't distract you from the eyeball feast.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't need the ear stuff.
No.
Yeah.
Your eyeballs are busy.
Exactly.
And
It's the same with the plot. Like again, we've all already established
Yeah.
the plot is a race. The music was the right music for a race. Like it
Yeah.
was just well done. Yeah.
I don't think that actually, to be honest with you, I don't think they could pick a music that would enhance the movie so much more because the art is so good.
You don't think some Initial D Eurobeat music would
Oh,
like?
fuck off.
I mean, it worked for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, it's just
really did.
Just fucking butterfly on repeat.
Oh my god.
Nice. Yeah.
but like for real though, like I don't think they could have picked any more music to really enhance it past the point of where the art set the bar, right?
yeah, where it gets points is that they didn't pick music that like took me out of it. Like the point,
Yeah.
the fact that I have no music is not no music notes is not a detriment in this regard. It's a positive. Like that's a well done score
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyways, please like and subscribe.
Yeah, help us out. Also, comment below. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
So
And watch this movie.
And watch this
tell us
movie,
that you liked
yeah.
it because you probably will.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into characters. So the first thing we see, we already established, is like there's like a colony of dog people.
Yes.
And actually, right away, I was like, that's cool looking. Again, remember that I was expecting Initial D.
Yeah.
And I see and I get dog people. And there's a couple other alien critters, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of down for it. And like, it's quirky, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, not in a bad way. Like, everything's unique and like interesting looking. And what I don't usually love, and this is going to be weird coming from me because Star Wars, is when like no two characters seem to be part of the same alien race. Like in Star Wars, in the background, you'll often see like one-off alien races, right?
Yeah.
But they've also built this rich history of like endless worlds with endless races, right?
Yeah.
In this movie, at first when I saw the dog people, I was like, okay, so like mostly dog people. But then as it goes forward, there's like no two people from the same race.
Yeah.
A lot. And I don't usually love that. It didn't bother me so much here in the same way that it doesn't bother me in Star Wars. I don't know why.
That's the first thing that established the pod racer vibe for me.
Yeah.
Was that because every pod racer in
Different.
it was a different alien.
totally.
Right. So like
Yeah.
that was like immediately I'm getting
Yeah.
pod racer vibes.
I
Yes.
want to almost say that actually when you get their introductions, you get that same head-on shot through the windshield of their
Of
pods.
all their pods.
Oh,
Yeah, one at a
Very
time.
reminiscent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was just when I saw the dog people, I'm like, unfortunately, I wish you watched Tank Girl or Red Tank Girl. But again, it's just that same aesthetic. And even when they're doing the battles with like certain like missiles too, like in Tank Girl, they like put faces on missiles and shit
Okay.
like that. And
Yeah.
it has that same aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I was like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fucking down with this.
Yeah, I'll just say one more time that like the character design kept getting wackier and wackier, and usually that's turning me off. In this movie, it wasn't, and I mean, there's probably a really good explanation that I don't have.
You know what? I feel like it's because you go into these things sometimes in these animes that we make you watch with these weird preconceived notions where you
Yeah.
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 And the same thing, and the fact that you went in thinking this was going to be very initial D,
Yeah.
and the fact that it wasn't, it was
Yeah.
like a complete 180 from that,
Yeah.
like made you enjoy it probably way more.
It was like a forced blank slate to come in with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyways, it was
like that.
effective. And yeah, so many like one-off racers, right? Like Machine Head, the Robo World racer who cries all the time, Sexy Magic Twins, Police Cop. There's like the spiky-headed racer who like who fights Dirty, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like another team that are just like two little weirdos.
Yeah, they're kind of wieners.
They're just two.
Miki and Todoroki.
Yeah. Like who are they? What are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, we'll get into a lot of those during the plot. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on each one of those. You know what I mean? But what we should talk about is JP because he's the main guy.
Yeah.
Main character.
It's Joshua Punkhead. Okay.
No, come on.
Get it right.
Yeah.
All right, pal.
My apologies, Mr. Punkhead.
Awesome. I know
but-
I'm not fucking with you. It's actually Joshua Punkhead.
That ruins it.
I hope this movie just lost a 0.5 on your final score because it's Joshua Punkhead.
No, because they don't mention Joshua Punkhead in the film ever.
Not even once.
Not once, yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
But you know what I love about? Okay, let's just talk about Joshua Punkhead for a
Yeah.
second.
Can we call him JP though? I don't like it.
It doesn't make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not nice to hear.
But what I love is that this is your protagonist, and he doesn't have any weird like backstory. It's just
Yeah.
he got inspired looking at what's your name?
He saw her, Sonashi.
Sonashi.
Sonashi,
senpai.
yeah. You're not fucking senpai just because you can remember a fucking name because you wrote it down.
Proceed.
But yeah, just because he just felt like, oh my god, Sonashi's so badass. Like
Yeah.
I want to be her,
Yeah.
right? Or like I look up to her and
Yeah.
like it gets inspired, and that was it.
He also had that moment. There's another flashback where he like, I guess he's like was a homeless kid or something. He was living in the streets and he was like in a garbage can, and this like super suave looking motherfucker comes out,
Yeah.
and like sensually makes out with this one girl, and there's this other hot girl, and
Yeah.
then he hops in his like Cadillac that's like super sick
Yeah.
and drives off away with them.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I would too. Yeah. I would treasure that memory too.
That
to
would
be honest
change
with
my
you.
whole life.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
but that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was really nice because it was just like, okay, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know, it was candy. It's
Yeah.
just candy.
Easy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Easy to digest.
Well, and he's such a trope, like not in a bad way, but he's like your James Dean, your young
Yeah.
Elvis. He's like your typical like
Renegade.
Yeah,
Renegade,
exactly. Leather
hot
jacket
rodder,
wearing,
yeah.
big hair having, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, cigarette smoking, cool guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't take no shit. Does what he
Exactly.
wants.
Exactly. Yeah. And his car was dope. In a world where all the cars are like more or less spaceships.
Yeah.
He drives a Pontiac
He
Trans
drives a
Am.
Trans Am. Yeah,
Loved
exactly.
it, dude.
And it's yellow. Yeah.
And not to mention, he doesn't even have any weapons on there.
no.
Yeah,
That's right.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'm just here to race, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like tricked out to the nines. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Inside, right? He's
But
got
same.
mechanics working on
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
a
But he's
wild
not.
thing.
He's not trying to like. But he's trying to race,
Yeah.
not battle it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing visually that like kept making me laugh that wasn't pleasant to watch was his stupid massive motorcycle. His motorcycle looks so dumb, dude.
It mirrored his hair.
It was
Yeah.
exactly, and it was so big, man. Like,
I
enormously
actually
big.
really like that because I love choppers.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah, and like big handlebar choppers.
Oh, yeah.
It was so large. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was such a caricature of what like choppers are.
Yeah.
It bothered me.
No,
I thought it fit perfectly within this.
I mean,
this
I'm
film.
not saying it didn't fit. It just was like, it was jarring to see. It was jarring to see him riding it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing about JP is he's like constantly wrecking cars.
Oh yeah, he just doesn't give a fuck.
Sometimes
no,
we'll
they
find out
wreck
in the
it.
plot it's on
Yeah.
purpose,
Yeah.
but then sometimes it's not. Like he is in a motorcycle wreck as well too at one point. Like he's
Yeah.
just constantly crashing. But that's
Yeah.
another element onto the like cool, reckless, careless dude who's like, I'll just go as hard as I can. Like live
Yeah.
fast, die hard. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Cherry Boy Hunter. Sonashi McLaren.
Another nod for the car geeks with McLaren.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, visually, like you said, she's the most anime element of this whole movie.
Yes.
And as far as like a character, I didn't really get like a lot of depth for her. Like she's also kind of a trope, right? She's like a tough girl, and then by the end, she's kind of a damsel in distress. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like she can't finish the race on her own. He
That
needs to
bugged
help
me.
her.
That
Yeah.
bugged
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I give it a pass only because of like when it came out, right? Like
2009.
yeah, 2009.
Why does that get a pass for damsel in distress?
Well, because it's like because again, it was 2002 when he first started it,
Sure.
right? So he probably had the script.
Yeah.
So even before he had the script, he already probably had the idea within the 90s.
Sure.
Right. So that kind of fits.
I guess.
Right. Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying the whole damsel in distress is something that should be keep coming out.
I
Right?
hear what you're saying.
I love strong female characters, but
Yeah.
I don't really feel that she was totally a damsel in distress at the
No,
time.
you're
because
right.
She's there. She's out battling it by herself.
Yeah.
She didn't have a mechanic. She did all the fucking things herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She also
So-
like was built up in the beginning to be so strong. I think that's the only reason why it annoyed me is because she was so strong and such a powerhouse of a racer and a human being in the beginning.
Yeah.
To then see her at the end just kind of like not be able to finish without him was kind of like, that's a bummer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, the thing that helped carry it through is like I was kind of sort of getting invested in the love story at that point.
Yeah.
So
that's
the
other
fact that
thing.
so the fact that yes, she was being taken out of the race.
Yeah.
They were allowing that to serve their love story.
Yeah.
And in the end, you know, I'm not going to jump too far ahead, but like
Yeah.
in the end, I really did like their kind of little romance.
Yeah.
It did make me happy and smile. So therefore, I didn't hate that they did that to her character. In the end, it served a cool purpose.
Yeah.
But generally, fucking hate when they do that.
I know. And
Like-
their love story was candy, the same way that everything in this movie was candy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's not much to work through in your head. It's all given to you.
Yeah.
But it was done well.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's super polished in that way,
Yeah.
I think.
Happy feels.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like even just the scene where they first hang out in the restaurant, where she's
It was
like,
nice.
like, and she's
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Okay, you can leave now."
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you
but
could tell
wait.
she kind of didn't want him to. She
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
kind of intrigued.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
Yeah.
It felt low stakes.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It was
Yeah, for sure.
refreshing. Yeah.
Okay. Again, there's not a ton of other characters I think we need to talk about up top, but we should talk a little bit about Frisbee because he kind of plays an integral role.
Yeah, he plays a huge role, man.
Yeah. I'm saying that.
No, but you were saying, hey, you know, like there's not a lot of people to talk about, but we should,
talk about him,
Frisbee.
because
okay,
he does play an
fine,
integral
fine,
role.
yes, fine. Moving on.
Okay. First of all, the way he looks was weird, like the patchy green face or whatever.
Hideous.
It was really strange, right?
I feel like
Yeah,
that
the
might have been
gremlin.
on purpose.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah. And he is kind of your gangster who like one time was like injured in a firefight or something, and now everyone's like he's like mysterious a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they also kind of want you to maybe be a little disgusted by him, not trust him.
Yeah.
So that when you find out, obviously, that he truly was a good guy.
Yeah.
Always had JP's back, even
sure.
when he was blowing up his fucking vehicle.
Yeah.
When you realize that, you're just like, oh, okay. Like I love that dichotomy then, because they really
Yeah.
tried to heavy-handed make you hate him, even
Yeah.
in his
Yeah.
look.
Well, and he's the only character I would say that had an arc in this plot that like there was some mystery about. Like everything else, you knew how it was all going to play out.
Yeah.
But with him, I was like, I don't know if he is kind of like a scumbag or if he is kind of the good guy. Like was the only one.
Yeah.
For the whole movie, right?
yeah, where he's just like, okay, you know, I just want to see him win.
Yeah.
right. But I think I think the nice thing about that kind of archetype is like you get that sleazy anti-hero
Yeah.
kind of vibe,
For
right?
sure.
And I love a good anti-hero.
Yeah.
My favorites are anti-heroes.
Yeah,
Right?
I like
Like-
that too. It's always refreshing because I mean it's easy to pit good guy versus bad guy.
Yeah.
It's a little more nuanced when your bad guy is
Exactly,
maybe a
right?
little bit of a good guy, right?
Because you need, because guys, that's the thing about life, right? And just being human in general, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that you have to question or that you have to consider,
Totally.
right? Even if something you want to do is morally good because your compass is going that way, and
Yeah.
you know that it is.
Yeah.
The means to get there may not always be the best.
yeah.
It's like
Right.
the line from the cinematic masterpiece Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh yeah.
Just because I'm bad guy doesn't mean that I'm bad guy.
That was Zangief.
That's right. Yeah.
Amazing.
I remember
Amazing.
when I saw that, like that commercial,
Yeah.
or the trailer for Wreck-It Ralph, and
Yeah.
I saw Street Fighter.
How
and I'm
hard
like,
did you
are
get? You had a
oh,
boner
I
immediately.
got so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Dude, like raging.
Yeah.
That's strange. Okay, unless there's other characters you think are worth some time, let's move on to plot.
Machine Head.
Yeah, I want to talk about Machine
Okay.
Head and Gramps.
Machine Head really stood out to me just as like from
Visually?
a character design standpoint.
Sure, okay, yeah.
Again, gave me huge Ninja Scroll vibes.
Yeah.
But then just a character where they could really have fun with like the cyberpunk,
Yeah.
like the tech, almost mecha kind of stuff going on in this, where
Yeah.
like he was so integrated into his vehicle, he was basically a part of it, and
Yeah.
like I just love that they didn't just have that be like a throwaway aspect, like
For sure.
right till the very end. He was transforming and like
Yeah.
changing the shape of his vehicle and stuff to try and keep up with JP. Like they really made
Yeah.
that matter for his character all the way through.
Well, and he's the main contender to beat. Like he's the winner of the Redline.
favorite,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
favorite. Yeah.
So for Machine Head,
Got a machine head.
don't do that. We might get fucking flagged.
What?
We might get flagged.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes.
Nobody gives a shit
I
about
don't know.
podcasts.
That's true. That's very true.
If we get flagged, we know we've made it.
Actually, yeah. Once we have haters,
Yeah.
that's how you know you hate it or you made it.
Yeah.
But what's her name again? Fuck.
Sonashi?
Sonashi. So Sonashi has a dad that she refers to, right?
I don't know if I remember that. I believe you.
So, God, you.
That's a little one. Move on from it.
It is prominent because in the scene where they're talking about her necklace, right?
Oh, that's right. I do remember.
right, and that was a big part of the movie.
Yeah.
Machine Head, I think. I don't know if it's been confirmed or not. I never read into it, but I think Machine Head is her dad because he is the only other one that knows about that. What is it?
No, they know about it. They say he's the only one who's mastered the use of it.
Yeah.
That nobody else knows how to properly use it.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
It
Because
could support your theory. Yeah.
right, which supports my theory
Yeah.
because her dad is a racer,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
My-
What do you mean? Sure.
You're just
give me a sure.
You're just making backstories up, dude. You're just making shit up.
No, I'm not making. I'm theorizing.
I think it's a cool.
right
I think
now.
it's a cool theory. I think
Yeah,
it's a cool
alright.
theory.
It's a cool theory.
Yeah, it's a theory.
Yeah.
I said it was a theory at
Yeah.
the beginning. Jackass.
All right, yeah. I don't hate it, but also like I'd prefer not because again, if that is the case and they don't give that to you in the
Yeah.
story, then I'm annoyed that they didn't flesh that out.
Why?
Because if that is the case, then and they
Missed
like
opportunity.
yeah. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I
I'd
guess
rather
so.
it not be the case and it just never be a thing than it to be a thing and there not to be a story part around it. Like,
Sure.
yeah.
Good
Good theory though, bro.
He likes it better this way. Just, just let him go.
Fine.
It is a cool theory though. You're right.
But Pops.
Pops, yeah. Kamaji.
Kamaji. exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's
What's that
it.
what you're gonna say?
That's all I want to
Okay,
say.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That has to be it.
It has to be.
Yeah, same. Okay, let's get in the plot. So like we open up on this world and it gets explained it's like a futuristic world. We have they call it air cars now, and there's this like vanishing spirit of racing happening in the subculture is the way they describe it. And then we get our first pod race. It's like the one-off, this racer, this racer, this racer, this racer. They're all in crazy cars, and then there's just a yellow Trans Am. It's really fucking funny. It stands out like not only just by color, but the shape and type of the car. It's like a car. You know what I mean? And then, the announcer or the TV host kind of explains that there's like a series of races, right? The yellow line, I don't know what the other colors are, but they're all like...
Yeah, yellow line and then
Yeah.
red line. I'm sure there's a green line that was like before
I'm sure
yellow.
they're all
Yeah,
the colors
yeah,
of the lines, and the red line is the big one, right?
Yeah.
So I think this race was the yellow line, if I'm not mistaken. The first race.
one. Yeah, first one was.
And then we meet like a couple of like gangster types in a like seedy dark room, and they're talking about how they expect JP to lose the race because I guess it's been all set up.
Yeah.
He's supposed to throw the race.
It's fixed.
Exactly. And it's Frisbee who makes the deal as his mechanic and like I guess kind of manager when it comes to the races. And this is where you first think that he's a bad guy, right? Okay, and then we also find out that if he wins, he'll qualify for the red line, and no one wants him to qualify for the red line. Like they don't want him to get into that race. So the race happens, and it's sick looking. And he at the end wrecks his car, doesn't win. Sonoshi wins, so we know she's going to be in the red line.
I love when she won. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But I also loved when he crashed. The way they animated that, it's like slow mo, and there's silence for a second, and his car's like spinning in midair.
And then you just see her
Fucking-
come out of nowhere, and she's just like, "Yes!" and she wins, and you're just like, "Yeah!" I don't even know her, but I'm like kind of stoked. I don't know why.
Exactly.
Dude, it's like playing Burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way she comes through that finish line just jacked me up. Like I was like so fired up for this fucking movie when she won. I don't know why.
It's racing. It's race energy. It's the reason why I didn't hate Initial D. It's race energy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It is exciting.
Yeah.
There's something I think visceral in every person that just likes a good race.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so JP wrecks and he's all fucked up and he's in the hospital, which would happen if you wreck a car. And it turns out that's when we find out that Frisbee is actually his mechanic and his friend, and he shows up, and then out of nowhere, like all the press run in, and they're like interviewing him. He's like, "What the fuck's even happening here?" And then the TV gets clicked on, and they find out that like a bunch of people dropped out of the red line.
Yeah.
And so he's next in line. They're like, he's in the red line, and they're like, "Are you gonna actually race?" And the reason they're asking that is because of the situation on RoboWorld. RoboWorld doesn't want the race. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be not only a race but also a firefight. You're going to be trying
And
to
what
outdrive
a
bullets.
fucking firefight.
Yeah,
It's the whole reason those guys dropped out.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
didn't want to fuck with RoboWorld.
Exactly, and that's why they're like, "Are you gonna race?"
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna race."
I'll see you there.
Yeah, exactly. It's the silliest fucking scene, dude.
But again, and with the animation, with distorting the face, it's so good.
It was good. Yeah,
It was hilarious.
It's so funny. Okay, so then JP arrives on RoboWorld.
Yeah.
And there's another cool visual thing I liked is when they're getting off the ship, which I guess is more like kind of like a bus. It had a city bus vibe, right? All these random people. They get in these little like escape pods.
Yeah.
And they all go down to Earth. And then when they land on the planet, the pods are just destroyed on the planet's surface.
Yep.
Fuck it.
So funny, man.
But they're disposable.
Single-use
One time
pods. Yeah. Single-use reentry pods. Why not?
Yeah.
Keurigs.
They're biodegradable.
I don't think that they are. I don't think that they are. Okay, so we arrive on RoboWorld. JP meets up with his mechanic, right?
Yeah.
And this is where we meet Pops. And he's rebuilding the Trans Am. And they're talking about parts they need to find and like engine parts, which is like, for like car nerds and people who are into that. It's kind of cool that they give you those scenes. And this is where Kamaji, I'm going to keep calling him Kamaji by accident. I'm sorry.
He's a junk dealer.
Yeah.
Frisbee's actually the mechanic.
Yeah.
Sure, but which is funny because you never actually see Frisbee working on the car, but you do see Pops working
you
on
do.
the car.
you
There's-
do.
Frisbee installs the engine.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and he like gets the wrench and he's
The super insane engine.
Oh, the wrench.
Frisbee's like, Frisbee's like, I'll have this installed like today.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Anyways, Pops tells him that Frisbee's no good. He's like, you got to stop working with that guy. He's going to get you in trouble, right? And at that point, I'm like, I believe it. That's for sure how this is going to play out. You know what I mean? Then we get that cute bar scene. JP's in the bar. He meets Sonoshi. She explains the steam light she has on her necklace. And then a bunch of other racers start showing up.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like local racers, right? Some of them are top contenders. The one dude with the long ears.
Yeah, that's Trava and Shinkai.
Yeah.
That duo. They were actually, so there was a prequel animation to this
about them
that actually followed those two.
Interesting.
They were returning characters for those two.
Yeah.
Oh, I did
Trava
not
and
know
Shinkai.
that.
Yeah.
So it was like a bit of like a proof of concept, like little short that was created before Redline, and
That's
those
cool.
were the two main characters.
Yeah,
Ah,
nice.
interesting.
See, again, I always, as I'm watching this, I'm thinking there's more story to be told.
Yeah,
As
it
I'm
seemed
watching
to be
this
a
movie.
bigger world.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to get like a prequel like season.
Make it a
Just to
Star
get-
Wars trilogy. You know what I mean? Why not? Why the hell not? I don't know why you snorted at that. Okay, so yeah.
But
and then
okay,
Go
I
ahead.
did like though the weird general that cries and just gets stronger when he.
I was gonna get
cries.
into him next, yeah, because he shows up, and I guess the redhead dude, like the long ear dude, is his friend. And
Yeah.
he comes up and he's like rattled. And the guy's like, "How can you fucking race? Like, you know, you're not supposed to be doing races. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?" And he starts crying and beating the fuck out of that guy.
Yeah.
And there's a crazy little scene. And then
Yeah, because they were all in the military together.
No,
That's exactly right.
he gets mad because he left the Corps.
Oh,
was,
okay.
Yeah, he was no longer going to be part of the military.
Yeah. That character was hilarious. The crying.
Yeah.
Like the,
I feel like that's another weird archetype, too,
Weird
right?
trope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
weird trope where you have like even in Demon Slayer right
Yeah,
now you have
Zenitsu.
that.
crying
not
Hashira.
The
Oh,
crying
that's
Hashira.
right. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
jacked, but he's just that.
He's
like,
crying
cries
always.
always.
Yeah.
And like he
this
just
character's
fucks-
different though, because he's not like sensitive and like feeling tears. Like it catches him off guard. Like he doesn't want to cry. He doesn't want that to be his power. But that's his power, right?
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's why he gets stronger, because he's like, "No, you're making me cry, and I'm embarrassing myself in front of everyone." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an interesting character.
Hilarious character. Yeah.
Okay, so then the Robo World like general dude Volton shows up with
Yeah.
his like goons, and they're like, it's gonna be dangerous if you guys race tomorrow." Basically, and
Can't guarantee your safety. Just saying.
Exactly. Pretty much. Which like really, it's like the Robo World general in a real life situation would probably just drag those people away right then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Dead.
who he does drag away is the crying dude, because that guy still is in the military, and he's like, "What are you even doing here? Get back in line!" Basically, and he drags him away.
Yeah.
Then we get the flashback we talked about where he sees Sonoshi racing, which is kind of cool. The fact that they met before, and he even addresses later on. He's like, "I don't even know if she would remember me."
Yeah.
for sure she wouldn't, but he
Yep.
remembers her, right?
Yep.
Okay, then we get people start talking about the race. There's like bookkeepers and like people on TV. They're talking about the odds. Which
I like that they got like little bios of every racer, which
yeah.
is really nice.
That's this next little segment. Is they kind of, because she's at home watching TV, like topless, by the way.
yes,
Super topless.
Just
Super
super,
topless.
topless.
Super excellently topless.
Yeah.
Out of
Excellent.
nowhere, just that one scene. I was like, all right.
I'll watch that scene a few
I
more
guess,
times.
yeah. You know what was really
Rewind?
nice? She's of age.
Yeah. Rewind.
And so they go through the characters one at a time. So we find out JP is a long shot. His odds are 25,000 to 1 to win the race, which is fucking hilarious. We meet the Super Boys, or what would you call them?
Boy boys?
Yeah.
Boy boys? Yeah.
And they're like almost nude. And I guess like whatever planet they're from, there's magic, and their princess has magic still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
She's also the one that like puts on Redline too, right? Like it's her master or like mothership that like puts the the finishing line on the
That's
building.
right. That's right. That's
I
right.
actually really love that princess character just because like every once in a while they would just pop back to her like sitting on her throne with like blinding light behind, just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and she would just do some like super OP magical shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like just such a wild card in this whole movie
Totally.
that every time she came on the screen, I'm like, all right, shit's going to
Something's gonna happen.
pop
Yeah.
off
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
exactly.
Jay's got like a magical lolly complex.
I don't even know what that means, but I like
don't.
that you're laughing, that you're shaking your head.
I don't. Mikey used the term.
Yeah.
For anybody out there who knows what he just said, that came out of Mikey's brain, not mine.
What you have to tell me what it is now, though.
So if anybody's got the complex,
Yeah, okay, Shweebs,
me.
Shweebs, if you guys can put in the comments, explain it to Jordy.
No, I want you to explain it to me right now.
tell
just tell him
a lolly is an underage girl.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you do.
I'm not the one calling Ariel from The Little Mermaid a babe.
That was private. That was private.
You want to take the gloves off, bro?
Oh my god.
Holy fuck.
Moving the
on.
Take a deep
fuck
breath.
on.
All right. Okay, so other racers we meet in this little
Yes.
segment of little intros, we meet Machine Head, and
Yeah.
he's just like sitting there petting his tiny little dog.
Yeah, it was a Shih Tzu or something
The
like
fucking
that.
juxtaposition of this massive metal motherfucker and his tiny little dog was hilarious. We meet Lynchman, who's like red spiky hair dude, and they all
Yeah.
like he plays dirty, so like hey, we
Yeah.
know what to expect with him. Guru Racer, who happens to just be a police officer,
Yeah.
police cop.
Police cop.
And then Mickey and Todoroki, who are just two weirdos who race together.
Yeah.
Not much to say about them. And
They're
that's
kind of wieners.
I don't.
They're
I
kinda
mean,
wieners.
I would like to say like just remove them, but also like you don't have to. It didn't bother me that they were there.
No.
They just didn't have much of an impact on the story.
They're just cannon fodder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You need-
exactly.
Somebody had to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're back with the RoboWorld army, and they unveil their like hyper disintegration cannon.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't work right away, dude. As
They
soon as
fucked
they use
it up.
it, yeah. And like that, and now the race has started.
But I love like there's just very much like this, and it ties in with JP's character. There's just like this punk,
Yeah.
like attitude to
Yeah.
a lot of this movie, like them and going and like basically vandalizing like the big corporate laser beam. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Is very punk rock.
Yeah.
So they can get their fucking street race going. Like,
Totally,
it's,
yeah.
Like I love that attitude about
Yeah,
this
like a
whole
lot of
movie.
mischief going
yeah,
on,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's very punk rock. Yeah.
Another thing worth saying about the RoboWorld army is that like they're very like they're shitty at being an army. Like they suck at it. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll argue their like killer drones that they send out
yeah.
are pretty effective at clearing a room.
True, but it seems like they kind of fumble their way through shit. Like they're talking about our military secrets and stuff like that, and they just tend to fumble their way through dealing with this race.
The people in command, yes,
Yeah.
but their troops. 'Cause
Sure.
Remember when they send that drone out down to that like one random like
Level where they're like
that
all those-
skeezy
Yeah.
like where all the
Yeah, yeah,
bookies
yeah.
are,
Yeah.
and it just shows
Yeah.
up and it's just like you're breaking the law, and everybody starts running. They don't even have a chance to take 2 steps
Yeah.
before they're all like melted.
yeah.
It just melts everybody in the room. It's so fucked.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Pretty badass.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Word. So the race is now on right now. Is on now.
Yeah.
And like also there's bullets flying around everywhere and everyone's shooting at each other.
Fucking bullet storm. It looks
Yeah.
so good.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is being broadcast worldwide, which was the whole reason why RoboWorld wanted it shut down because they don't want people to see what's going on their planet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't want to get their military secrets
They
out.
got secrets, and then we find out what one of the secrets is.
About
Zone
big
7X.
fucking baby.
Funky boy.
Funky fucking boy, dude. This
I
was
love Funky boy.
Now hold on. At this point we haven't
yeah.
seen it yet. They're just
No, no,
talking
no.
about
They
it.
mention it.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And I'm
Oh.
like, Funky boy? And I'm
Dude,
assuming it's a racer, to be honest with you, at that point.
Yeah.
Nothing could have prepared me.
No. Dude, honestly, when I finally saw it the
Yeah.
first time, I was like, this is a mix between like, I don't know, like Akira, where he goes all like weird and like, right? And what was that weird baby from Witcher 3? Did you guys play Witcher 3?
No.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I remember that quest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just this weird, like, gremlin looking
Alien baby.
And it
Yeah.
was just like that mixed together.
It was a giant, like, nuclear baby.
Pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the crying dude from the military, he joins the race, not to race at first, but like to get angry at his friend still.
Yeah.
And now he's just in the race.
Yeah.
Like he's part of it now.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes him a deserter.
Yeah, technically,
Yeah.
yeah, because he's crying. He's
Yeah.
he's overly
He's way
emotional.
too passionate for his own good. Like he can't let things go. Okay, then a bunch of people wreck the fucking Boings or whatever. They turn their car into like a sex doll mech.
Yeah,
At one point?
I loved that.
Yeah.
So
That's-
sick.
It's like
Transformers
dancing around.
Yeah,
that was
Yeah.
really. It was weird to me, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, I kind of knew that was coming anyway because when they shoot like people, the laser beams were like hands
Yeah.
that like move back and
Yeah.
forth, and I was
I
like,
see. I
I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely gonna turn into a mech.
Yeah, and it
there's
did.
no way.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
kind of cool. And then there's a bunch of wrecks, and Sonoshi wrecks. She's one of
Yeah.
the ones who crashes, and then Funky Boy comes out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like screaming, but its screams are also explosive. It's
So
crazy.
cool.
Yeah,
So cool.
so cool, dude. Yeah. So cool. Also, it was like bright and yellow and takes up the whole screen, whereas the rest of the race is kind of like dark and there's frantic shit going on all the time.
Yeah.
It was like
You almost couldn't even make out the exact profile or shape
Yeah.
or outline or details of it because it was made almost out of like pure
radiation.
light.
Yeah.
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 Fucking so cool.
Yeah.
If you guys ever want a fucking sensory overload,
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's like now we're getting like kaiju elements
Yeah.
in this film. You know what I mean? It's like how many different things can this movie mash together
Yeah.
into a giant space race?
It kind of
Yeah.
has
the kitchen sink of space races,
Literally.
right?
It's
kind of
Like-
Kill la Kill vibes minus the nudity.
100%
that's
Kill
not
la Kill
true.
vibes.
There's
Let me
one
say-
scene,
but I'm saying
yeah.
So interesting you brought that up. Several times as I was watching this, I actually thought, I'm like, I would love to see Trigger get their hands on this
Yeah.
and do their own rendition of Redline.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like Studio
wow.
Trigger animation style.
that would be cool.
I think
That
they would do a really
do
interesting
good-
job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they would.
Yeah,
they
it's
would do
really
a
up
good
their
job.
lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that perpetual growth vibe where it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger as you watch.
crazier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting crazier, now the hyper disintegration cannon works, and they fire it at Funky Boy.
Yeah.
And it's basically a nuke.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Massive explosion. And then like I guess for some reason JP and Sonoshi stop racing at this point for a little bit, and they have this like little heartfelt chat out in the desert.
Yeah.
Which is weird because there's like a race going on and like
And missiles and bullets.
Yeah.
And,
It was a little weird, right? But they have to have a little heart to heart at some point in a movie where 90% of the movie is a race. You kind of just have to get out of your car for a second and have it. You know what I mean? So JP reveals his like shady past, how him and Frisbee throw races to make money.
And not to mention, it was kind of nice just to see them so candid.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't really get a lot of that in other movies where they're just kind of like candid right off the bat like that.
Well, in this movie, they had that in the bar scene a little bit, and then again here. So it definitely is like part and parcel with the way they interact with each other, right?
Yeah.
They're comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
That's what you get here, right?
And he, by the way, the reason they stopped, his car actually had flipped.
Yeah.
Oh,
He had crashed. His car was turned over.
Yeah, he was
Which
trying to
again
push it over.
parallels
Yeah.
to her getting her car stuck in that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
flashback.
Yeah.
And
true.
him having to, he has to right his car the same way she had to right her car.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, too, I think while he was trying to push it over, she was sitting on the other side, and like he couldn't push it over because she was pushing against it.
I don't remember that, but
Oh,
that's
really?
fucking funny.
Because I think by the time he was actually able to push it over, she moved.
That's so funny, dude.
That's so funny.
That is hilarious. Okay, so they get back in the race. They have a cute heart to heart, and now you realize like they're a team now.
Yeah.
They get in the same car together. They're back in the race, and Funky Boy regenerates because of course he does.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? He's back in the game.
He is God.
Yeah. And then not only does he regenerate, but now he has to fight this weird like mutated land whale thing.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This giant monster.
Yeah. It's like,
Again,
well-
this movie's just getting crazier and crazier and crazier.
It's the classic, bioweapon is out of control. We need to use another bioweapon
Yeah.
to take it down.
Yeah.
Classic kaiju fucking
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
Dude.
And there's like it's like we're watching a Godzilla movie almost at this
Yeah,
point. Two
and
giant monsters fighting each other.
Yeah.
Loved it. Dude.
Yeah.
Funky Boy on its own was like amazing. I'm like, this is like a kaiju movie. And then
Yeah.
it actually fucking was.
Yeah.
It became one. And I
Yeah.
was just so in, man.
Yeah.
That whale shark creature thing, I was like, yep.
Yeah,
That's,
Jay's all about
that is-
fucking kaiju and Godzilla.
that's up my lane.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big points.
It was cool, to be honest with you, for someone who's not that guy. So, yeah, that was
Yeah.
about it. Okay, so the race is going, and all the racers are racing against each other, and, like, it's crazy shit is happening all over the place. And then we find out that Frisbee had, like, planted a bomb in JP's car, and this time JP doesn't know about it? Is that correct?
He probably knew, but like just knows
He doesn't acknowledge it anyhow.
Yeah.
I think he just assumes it's always there.
Yeah, because
Whenever he
that's how they
races.
throw races, right? There's
Yeah.
a bomb in the car.
And whether or not Frisbee explodes it, he just leaves in Frisbee's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Speaks
he-
to the trust.
Yeah. Well,
True.
and that's the thing, right? Like he's just like, the one of his lines is like, once I'm in this car, it's my game.
Yeah, I'm the boss.
I'm the boss.
Yeah.
And so like he's just gonna do his thing no matter what.
Yeah.
And so they're trusting that they're gonna do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So no matter what.
It
like,
is a weird teammate.
Yeah,
team
a
relationship.
dynamic,
Yeah.
right? Like where like Frisbee knows like he's gonna try to win the race, and I'm gonna have to hit this button again. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hit the button anymore, man.
Yeah.
just fucking listen to me.
Yeah.
right.
But at the same time, he's also like, I really want to just see him win.
yeah,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because they are a team, right?
Yeah.
And he can win.
Yeah.
He
and
can win
almost
every
does
time.
every time. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So this time he's supposed to push the button because those gangsters are paying them to throw the race again,
Yeah.
as per usual. But he decides he's not going to do it. He's
Yeah.
like, nah, sorry, I can't do that. And so then he gets beaten up a bit, and I'm like, they're probably going to fucking kill him, to be honest
Yeah,
with you, right? Like
looking
these are
that way.
gangsters, and they probably were going to if Pops didn't show up with a fucking out of nowhere, dude. Fucking Kamaji to the rescue, man. So
Lights
super
the
badass.
room up.
Out of nowhere, man. Out of nowhere, yeah. So good, dude. What a
Sick.
huge save.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, man. And then later, it's like they're both getting drunk together.
Yeah.
And Pops is the one that actually detonates the bomb.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so Sonoshi and JP, they're in the same car. They're booking it.
Yep.
And again, they're like kind of a pretty funny combo. And then there's like a G-force forced kiss.
Yeah.
Like their faces are like being pushed towards each other by the G-force, and they kiss. And I was like, that's perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
Perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
And then she slams on the brakes, and they're like going head to head with Machine Head at this point, basically, right? That's the two of them. And she tosses the steam light in, which launches them, right? Because her whole thing is she wants to win. And
Yeah.
his whole thing is like he's just racing for fun, basically, right?
Yeah. And he wants to be with her.
Yeah.
Like they're in love.
Totally.
Right?
Does she know that there might be a bomb in the car?
No. There's
I don't
no
think so.
way. No,
I don't think
I
so.
mean, he probably should have told him.
Yeah, but
He's
I
like,
also,
by the way, if
Yeah.
we do win, we might die.
Yeah, I think the design too of the car in the second version, was really cool because when he had the wheel in the center and it breaks off on the side and it turns into like a drag race car, like those like
a dragster, like a top fuel dragster. Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, okay,
It
I
was
can
cool.
see- yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still a Trans Am.
Yes,
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
After all that. Okay, so there's like an epic photo finish at the end, right? So like this.
Hold on, they're
Okay.
they're rocket ships at this point.
Yeah,
by the way. They've
yeah.
transformed fully from vehicles with wheels
To rocket ships,
to
yeah.
full blown flying through the air rocket ships.
Yeah, 100%.
Machine Head is transforming his ass off to try and keep up with this
Yeah.
slowly disintegrating rocket that
Yeah.
they're now fucking
Yeah.
piloting.
Yeah.
and the fucking explosion.
Yeah.
that pop fucking pulls off.
He's like, how are they gonna win? What do I do? And he's like, click. And it rocket ships them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rocket
dude.
ships them right. And so at first I couldn't tell if they were going to give like when I first started watching this race, I couldn't tell who was going to win, to be honest with you. Because like,
Yeah.
of course they want you to think it's going to be JP.
Yeah.
But also like, that's not really his thing. It could have been her. Do you know what I mean? And in
Yep.
the end, of course, it's both of them.
Yes.
They both get the win, right?
That was my only gripe about this, where like they won by being flung out of their car and their bodies.
Their bodies.
made
I
it
love
to
that,
the
dude.
finish
That's
line.
the only logical pinnacle for this movie to hit.
Yeah.
Like, where else do you go? Considering the photo finish of the yellow line race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you up the ante from that?
Yeah.
People got to get ejected from their vehicle.
You got to get launched.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's the only place you can go.
Yeah. It was crazy. Out of control.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so the race is done, and then there's this scene where like all the racers are just kind of like sitting in the wreckage and aftermath of the race, just breathing heavily. And I was like, because it's just that intense, I guess.
And they all lived.
And they all lived, and JP and Sonoshi are in love.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
they're in
the
love,
end.
and then they're floating around.
They float
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
kissing, and even Machine Head,
Yeah.
who is angry at himself for not winning, can't help but smile and tear up at this display of
Yeah.
otherworldly love
Totally.
as
Yeah.
they float down. It's just a happy ending for everybody.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
it,
it.
it gave me very much so like Gundam New type vibes, where you
them floating?
of them floating,
Yeah. In space together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, lovers floating and kissing at the same time is definitely an anime trope.
Yes.
That's the thing. I've
That
seen
is
a bunch of
that
times.
is very much so a trope.
And something to speak about Machine Head having a little cry at the end there is like in the end, like yes, they're all racing against each other, but the bigger conflict in the show is the racers versus the Robo World culture. In the
Yeah.
end, they're still all
They all lived.
they're all a team together, right?
Yeah.
The racers are all still fighting for the same thing. They all still love doing the same thing.
right.
They have more in common than not.
It's like
Yes.
it's like a racer's brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they all share, even though they all technically are trying to beat each other at any cost. Right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a wild thing. It's
Yeah.
like it's
'Cause
the
they-
idea
that's-
behind a gentleman's sport. I hate
Yeah.
that term, but that is the idea.
That's
Right?
that's the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Another thing, the movie's done at this point, like abruptly, and that kind of bothered me a little bit because they didn't give closure to anything.
Oh,
At
why?
all, man.
I love the fact that that abrupt ending where you just it's all kind of implied and you don't
But what's
really
implied though?
Well, whatever you want it to be, man.
Like what's going on with Robo World and their army? Like they still want to murder all these people.
Yeah. So
What happens there, right?
I'm what I think is implied is that they've won the race. The race happened. Robo World lost. They've just kind of accepted the fact that okay, we couldn't stop this race, so these guys are all gonna get ejected from the planet because they're going to leave and go do the next race.
Yeah.
Right. And they have to pick up the pieces of what they just fucked up with.
Robo World will now have been exposed
Yeah.
to the whole world or the whole universe
Yeah.
for breaking treaties, for
Yeah.
developing these weapons against,
Yeah.
against the regulations, whatever. They'll probably be fucking snuffed out by whatever powers that be.
Sure.
Meanwhile, this whole racing league will probably hop on the ferry spaceship.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
go to the
Fucking
next
go to
planet.
the next race,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the red line will continue on.
Yeah. I
And-
just feel like personally, I thought there was room for some closure on some of these things.
What I would have liked is a little fast forward to the next yellow line race.
Sure.
You see Sonashi's got a
perfect.
new ride.
Perfect.
JP's got a new ride. You
Yeah.
can see that they're not together. They're still racing each other. They're in
Yeah.
love, but they're
Yeah.
still willing to
Or like
race each
maybe
other
they
head
do
up.
kiss each
Yeah.
other and then hop in their separate cars.
Something like that.
Yeah, you know
I
what
just
I
got chills.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I love that.
Good luck, honey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to fuck you up right now.
Yeah, and Sonashi
yeah.
looks at him. She's just like, I don't need luck. And then fucking boom, helmet goes on.
Exactly,
Hop-
yeah.
and she hops and fucking boom.
See how good would that have been,
Yeah.
dude? A little bit of closure. closer. And it really, like, what they did was they climaxed and then cut. And I was like, you need a touch of falling action after the climax. You need a touch.
So you want a little cuddle at the end.
I want a little something.
You want a little
He wants
cuddle.
pillow talk.
Yeah, you want the pillow talk.
Yeah.
I'm not for pillow
Tell
talk.
me you love me. Tell me you love me when we're done.
No, I don't want to.
Okay, well, now who's cold and heartless? Yeah, dude. That's kind of the end, dude. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
like, top to bottom of this movie, really fucking cool vibes. The word to describe this movie is it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool as shit, man.
Yeah, it is fucking
Everything
cool
about
as
it, man.
shit.
I can't really think of too much that I thought was uncool about this movie, except Sonashi's sort of breakdown of a character
Yeah.
that she gets
For
towards
sure.
the end. But like, again, it served a love story that in the end really made me smile a lot.
Yeah.
Made me feel good things. It was a love story I was rooting for.
Yeah.
When on paper, maybe I wouldn't normally because it's so like heavy-handed and safe.
Yeah, it's
you know?
it's very clean cut.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it was great. They give you everything that you want, except for maybe a little bit of closure.
You get all the tropes. Anybody who out there who does love the tropes,
Yeah.
you're getting all,
Yeah,
all
you're
your
getting
classic
all of
anime
them.
tropes.
Totally, yeah. And again, everything
You get all the different archetypes. Yeah.
everything's simple and easy to follow, but not in a way that makes you feel like it was like they weren't putting effort in. They just
Yeah.
were giving you a nice, good, clean cut story. You know what I mean? And again, visually, a fucking feast for the eyes, man.
And I think it
Unbelievable.
was definitely a smart part, especially like we talk about how it's made by an animator and directed
Yeah.
by an animator, right? Because their focus isn't so much the story; it is the art,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
And man, the fucking art delivered.
Yeah, and like what better like vessel to display your art than a goddamn like futuristic space race?
Yeah.
What better
Yeah.
vessel?
Yeah.
Endless freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
took advantage.
Yeah. Again, I still think also too that I would love to see this as a short series. I feel like there's more story to be told. I didn't need it in this movie. It didn't actually ruin the movie at all that I wasn't getting it, but now that I've seen the movie, I want it.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, you want more.
I want more of this.
You want more.
It's a cool world.
Yeah.
The characters are cool. The race is cool. The animation is unbelievable. I want more.
Nice. I dig that.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. Fucking right on.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah, bud.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, Jordy,
Yeah.
what do you rate it?
I'm giving it 8 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10.
Oh,
Very
solid.
nice.
I
Yeah,
like that.
Very
Nice.
enjoyable. And again, part
Yeah.
of that's because like if I wasn't doing this with you guys and what didn't give a shit about anime,
Yeah.
I would love this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It stands outside of its genre. It's not really just an anime movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
fair.
Yeah.
How about you, Jay?
This is tough because as like a movie story, you know, all these different things, it is lacking a little bit. You know what I mean? Like we said, it's a small glimpse into, I think, a much bigger story
Yeah.
or world here.
Yeah.
So I can't give it as many points as I would necessarily like.
Sure.
That said, art alone gives this a 9 for me.
Nice.
Just standing alone on the art.
Yeah.
And again, some of those moments. But this would be an easy 9.5 if the story, I think, was just a little more engaging and interesting.
Sure.
Fleshed out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Mikey?
I give it an 8.5.
Hey.
Yeah,
Okay. We run
8.5.
the gamut then.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8.5. Just because, again, too, same. Like, I love the animation so much.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't need a good story for this.
Sure.
Right? And
I
think
actually
it's just,
felt that way too. I was
Yeah.
like, the story they gave was fine.
Yeah.
I want to see more of it, but as far as a standalone movie, like
Yeah.
even if this was part of a bigger world, they gave you everything you needed
Yeah.
for this movie to stand
It's
alone.
all nicely put together, right?
Yeah.
Because I think if I were to give it higher, it'd be because we don't give 10s, right? So
We do not give 10.
So like 9.5, 9.8 is like the highest we would give something.
You're the only
right?
one who's giving a 9.8, dude.
Yeah.
to
It's fucking
anything.
CGC ratings.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like a 9.5 is like the highest we would give something.
Yeah.
So I can't give it any higher unless it's a real fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
Right?
I hear what you're
So,
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So 8.5.
Sweet.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
Good work, Redline.
Yeah.
You did it.
So good.
You did it.
You did it, Joshua Punkhead.
No. What a dumb name, dude. It's funny because all the names they did mention in the show, Cherry Boy Hunter, also a really dumb name. But something about Joshua Punkhead really bothers me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like Johnny Bravo a little bit.
That bothers me too.
Yeah, but I love Johnny Bravo.
I don't
I
care.
like Johnny Bravo better than Joshua Punkhead.
Yeah.
As a
That's
name
okay.
or as a character?
as a name.
Okay.
Yeah, as a name.
Not as a character.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
JP is way cooler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo was a little bit problematic.
Just a little.
Just a little.
All right, guys.
dude.
Let's. Where can we find everybody?
You guys can find me at Korean Barbecue 86 on Instagram. I've got cats. I've got toys. I've got lots of cool stuff.
He does. And I'm reaching in on Instagram. You can see me doing some things there.
That's the most
Nice,
fucking
nice.
anticlimactic.
Good sell.
No, I want them to go
Just-
so they have to find out what things I'm talking about.
The mystery. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
They trust me. There's no mystery with you, bud.
You can find me at hanger91.bigcartel.com. I have merch and prints and cool anime stuff.
Hell yeah.
Or
Yep.
hanger.90 or at hanger.91 on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming out.
See you, Shweebs.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.